Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I am super excited because we're gonna be playing with some new makeup. I took the plastic with me. I did order the new Nude Prism palette from Lunar Beauty. This is my very first eyeshadow palette from the brand Lunar Beauty. I do have their lipstick and lip gloss on right now. The lipstick is Perfection, the gloss is in Moon, but I have yet to try any of his blushes or bronzers or really anything else. I have his sponge and I have some lip products. A lot of the Lunar Beauty eyeshadow palettes have been super colorful, but this palette right here was made for me. These shades are for the neutral lover. I am such a neutral lover. I was super excited to see Manny launching this for his brand, and I knew that I had to have it. So we are going to create these two looks here. Spoiler alert, this is what we are going to create, and I'm going to share my thoughts at the end with you. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly, and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking. I love makeup. I love talking about makeup, so if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and join the K-Bella fam. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. I'm not going to have any swatches or anything like that because I feel like you can find swatches a lot in a lot of people's videos. So I'm going to have Manny's video listed down below. You can check that out to see some swatches, but let's jump into these two looks. Okay, so I've already primed my eyes. I used my Fenty eye primer. This is the Pro Filter Amplifying Eye Primer. And because I like to set my primer, I'm going to start by doing the same thing on each eye and taking this lightest shade in Bare. It does have a little bit of a pink undertone. I wish it was almost a little bit more of like a cream shade instead of like a pink hue. But I'm just going to stamp this like right where my crease is and a little bit up into the brow bone. The only reason why I do this is because I have hooded eyes and they're pretty small. So I feel like when I do get some creasing there throughout the day. But we're gonna do two different eye looks, one on each eye. So I was thinking I'd do a bit of like a pinkier look on one side and a more bronzed look on the other, if I can figure that out. This is a very neutral palette, right up my alley, totally my color story. But you know, I'm no makeup artist, so I don't know how we are going to do here. But I'm gonna start with this Cherry Blossom shade right here, which is a light pink, and just my fluffy BK201. And I'm gonna put this all over the crease. Just real sloppy with it. I am noticing a little bit of kickback in the pan, but that sort of stuff doesn't bother me. Then I'm going to use my BK202, and we're going to go in with Milk Tea, which is almost like a mauve-y shade. And I'm going to put that a little bit lower in the crease. This is like a Kelly type of shade. I love the mauves, so I'm super excited. I've already done a look with this palette. I didn't film it just for work this week, and I really enjoyed it. But I did a more almost like gold neutral look, so I'm excited to play with some of these more pinkier shades. I want a little bit of depth and drama, so this is the A504 from BK Beauty and Angie Hot and Flashy. And I think, I'm a little bit nervous, but I think we're gonna go in with a touch right here of Bloom For You. And this brush is nice and fluffy. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of stamp this in the outer corner. And after I stamp it, I'm gonna move it into circular motions to blend it out, because I do want a little bit of like the deepness and the pigment. But the reason why I chose this brush instead of a more dense brush is that this will diffuse the shade a little bit more. I do want to get the depth and dimension, but I don't want it to be super deep. And I am taking this up into the crease just a touch, like whatever's left over. I'm not necessarily grabbing extra for that. This is my 201 and the Cherry Blossom, and I'm just gonna kind of blend out those edges. I love a diffused look. So you can see here, we do have some boldness and some depth and dimension, but it's a little bit more of like a diffused style, which is my kind of look. Then I'm going in with my favorite brush, the BK203. Love this for shimmer shades. And I'm actually going to go into the shade Sam right here. Earlier in the week, I used Laura, and I'm gonna spray it with Fix Plus first before putting it on the eye. This is by far my favorite brush for shimmer shades. I love it because it's dense enough that it picks up the shimmer, and I get really good pigmentation with it, but it's fluffy enough that when it gets to the crease, I can just kind of turn it on its side and blend that in as well. Beautiful pink look. I am taking a little bit on my finger as well. It feels so smooth and creamy, and we're just gonna put that right in the center. I feel like anytime you have shimmers, when you apply them with your finger, you get a really nice pop. So I just like to kind of tap that on after. And then this doesn't have any more product, but I am just gonna kind of blend this outer corner, and there might be a little bit still on the brush to keep that depth and dimension. And then I'm gonna take this Rephr number 3, and we're gonna go in with the Milk Tea shade on the bottom down here, and I am going to run that along my lower lash line. I've never used this brush for that, but the brush that I normally use, my Sigma pencil brush, I used it earlier in the week with this palette, and I used it with the more like neutral brown shades, and I want this to stay very like mauvey and pink. Same brush, I'm gonna take a touch of that Bloom For You, that deeper shade. Literally, I just tapped in one time and just put it right here on the outermost edge to kind of mimic what we did on the top. Okay, let's move over to the other eye. I want it to be more, you know, like more of a bronze look. So maybe we'll go in with this star-crossed shade right here. Let's see. I need some different brushes here. So I'm gonna go in with my E40 by Sigma, and I'm going to go in with I'm Shy right here, which is just like this peachy shade. I used this shade earlier in the week, and this is going to be my transition, real sloppy all over, just like I did with that Cherry Blossom shade. This is my BK202, but I've been wiping it over here on a towel, and I don't know if I want to go in with Tease or Classic. I think, why don't I just dip into each? Look, dip, 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 dip. Okay, dip into each. That's not something I normally do, but I mean, why not? Dip, dip, back and forth. Dip into each and get a little bit more definition in my non-existent crease. I can never find my brushes anymore. I need to do two things. I need to do a brush declutter and I also need to get another container so I can separate like my blending brushes from shadow brushes, and it won't be so hard to find things. I was looking for my BK207. This is the travel one. I don't know where my full size is. Oh, now I see it. I'm looking at it. That's okay. We'll use the travel one, and I'm going to go in with this shade right here in Maddie, which is, oh, Moody, sorry, not Maddie, Moody, which is like a chocolatey brown. And I'm going to put this right here in the outer part of my eye. Keep trying to keep it a little bit under my crease This brush is going to be the brush that I can like pack it on with. And then I'm gonna go back in with my 202 and probably that classic shade and blend it out. But first I wanna get Moody, not Maddie, Moody on there, and then we'll blend it. So now I'm gonna get that classic shade and just kind of get the edges here. I don't want to take away the depth of that deep Moody shade, but I want to blend it a little bit. And the reason why I like the Angie Hot and Flashy is because I can get in that area, you know, my eyes are small, and blend it out. Whereas this brush, the 207, is better at packing and not so much the blending part. It's more of like a packer, not a blender. So that's why I need to go in with a more fluffy blending brush to kind of get everything where it needs to be. Now I never really use black shades like this, but if you wanted a touch more dimension, you could get into deeper and really get it in that outer part. I don't do that often just because I do have smaller eyes. I don't have a lot of space to work with. So I'm gonna use the other side of my BK203 and go in with star-crossed right here, again spraying my brush. This would be such a nice, like, summer bronze look. So nice. I'm gonna do the same thing where I take a little bit of my finger, again nice and smooth, and really get that pigment on there. And then make sure I'm on the correct side of the brush. Blend that out. Ooh. This is a nice summer bronze look. I love this. This is the brush I was talking about before, the pencil E30. I'm gonna dip back into the two browns right here, these two, in Tease and Classic, and just kind of go back and forth on them like I did the crease, and put that along the lower lash line. I'm also going to take my BK204. If you ever want to try BK Beauty brushes, K Bella 10 will save you 10%, and dip into that Maddie shade, the deep shade, and just do the same thing we did on the other eye right here in that outermost part. Not taking it all the way in, but really mimicking what I did on the top and keeping this in the outer part of my eye. I feel like it almost elongates my eye a little bit when I use this technique. And then I'm going to take the pencil brush and just blend that all out. Okay, so here are the two eyes. I did pop a little bit of the white icy shade, So Icy, on the inner corner, and then threw some mascara on. For lips, I did go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude, and of course, Lunar Beauty Perfection. First of all, love this color, love this liquid lipstick in general. Thought it was fitting for this look here. I do plan to top it with a little bit of the gloss in the shade Moon. However, I find that this formula takes a minute to set down, and I don't want to smudge any of Perfection onto Moon. So I thought that I would show you the two eye looks here, and I have to say, I am pretty proud of myself because I feel like I created two distinct looks. So here is the pink shade, and just with me not being a makeup artist and feeling like, you know, with these neutral palettes, oftentimes my eye looks look pretty similar, but here we have a nice bronze and the pink. I'm digging it. So I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you out and share my final thoughts. Okay, so let's add a little bit of Moon on top. This is just a good neutral type of gloss. This applicator is different. It's not my favorite. I like the liquid lipstick applicator better, but it'll work. There you go. Little bit of gloss. Blend it all in. So here is the finished look right here. I have to say, I have been wanting to try Lunar Beauty, okay? My friend Heather Austin raves about them. She loves them. One of her favorite brands. The first thing I ever tried from them, of course, was this liquid lipstick and the lip gloss. Fell in love with the formula. I really like the shade. I really like the way it looks, but none of their palettes really spoke to me. I'm such a neutral lover and so basic, and I like stuff that's quick and easy. I don't feel like I have a creative brain. It's not that I don't like color. I just find it hard to put colorful looks together. So with this palette here, this is like speaking to my neutral lover heart. It is matte heavy, so I do prefer a nice shimmer, but we do have a beautiful array of shimmers. This is matte heavy, but it gives you enough variety and dimension. The thing I like about it is you can go more on the pink side, you can go more on the brown side. I have created a look with Laura, and I feel like Laura was just a very like neutral, classic brown type of shade. I think I went in with just these two and kind of created a nice look. The other thing that I like that he did, and well, I don't know if Manny planned it like this is just how my brain sees it, is I kind of feel like with some of these, like, okay, you could use these two together, you could use these two together, you could use these two together, you could use these two together. I don't think I would use these two together. Maybe go diagonal here. But the mattes are kind of placed near the shimmer that they would work well with. And so for someone like me who kind of has a little bit of a harder time putting looks together, I feel like this is definitely very easy to look at and to know what I want to do with it. Are you going to create like a vast variety of looks? Perhaps not. You know, they'll all be on the neutral end, but that's what I love. Like, those are my tones. This is definitely going to be a palette that I can reach for work, that I can reach for every day, that I can go into, and I'm super excited to have it in my collection. I find the formula is nice. Today was my third time using it, and the mattes were super blendable. I really like the shimmers. I feel like they do pack a punch. They do apply best with your finger over a brush, which is why I went in with the brush and then took my finger to add a little bit in afterwards. But they do have a nice creamy texture. When I was looking at them initially, when you look up close, some of them almost look like they have specks in them, specks of shimmer or different colored specks. And I think really it's just to make the shimmer look so dimensional on your eye, but I was afraid that it was gonna be chunky and glittery, and it was not. I really did enjoy the formula. And I have to say, for this being my very first Lunar Beauty palette, I'm totally impressed, and I could definitely see myself getting more palettes from him in the future. I'm super excited that Manny put out a neutral palette. I've been waiting. I have been waiting. I want to get the blush palette. I didn't pick it up on the sale when it launched because the Sephora VIB sale had just happened and I spent a bunch of makeup, but I will definitely be adding the blush collection to my collection, or the blush palette to my collection in the near future. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed these two looks here, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I hope that you will subscribe before you leave. That way, I can see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.